As we all know, the remains which were taken, human remains which were taken to Germany is during the war. We all know that there are a lot of concentration camp, and there were even the extreme order which was given by General van Troof. The human remains mostly were taken because they were going to do some research and wanted research to see the intellectual between the black person and the white person. Therefore, they have taken those remains to do this racist research which they intended to do. We have got a lot of remains in other countries, which is not only in Germany.
Yes.
As we are talking, we have identified that there are some remains in Austria and in some Germany. And all these remains ended up on foreign lands because of this racism, so-called research, which the Germans, when they occupied Namibia, they wanted to do.
Yeah, yeah. Now, Kai, how important, especially for the dignity of Namibians and for our ancestors, is the return or the return of these remains?
Actually, it is very important. As you may be well aware, these people who died in the war or killed in the war, they were beheaded. And then their heads were de-skinned. And the sad thing is that these heads were sometimes, de-skinned by the family members. Like, for instance, a husband has been killed in the war, and then his head will be brought to the wife to de-skin it. So which means, the essence is that most of these people, it means they have been buried, without their head. Now, can you imagine burying your relative,
yes,
or without his head,
yes,
and you don't know where the head is? That is the crux of the matter. It means, so to speak, these people, as we say, they have not been put to internal peace.
Yes.
We usually say when somebody passes on and we bury them so that they must rest in peace.
Yes.
Now, can somebody who have been buried without his head really rest in peace? That is the essence.
Madam Esther, firstly, I wanted to know from you, the skulls that we have received so far, are they accessible to the general public, firstly, and where are they being kept?
I must correct you, because when you are saying skulls, it's like we only brought skulls. There are other parts of the bodies which we had been brought. And I would really not them want to be referred as skulls. I normally want to be referred them as the remains, human remains. Because when you are talking about skulls, we are just talking about
just
the
one
head.
part, yes.
But as I'm saying, these Namibian human remains and associated object which had been brought back home. Yes, as you are saying, the skulls are kept at the National Museum of Namibia, and they are accessible to the public. I need to underline that these are not part of the collections, because these are human remains which are just being kept by the National Museum, as I'm saying, waiting for the order which the government and the affected community have to come up with, whether it's going to be buried. In our culture, we never really keep human remains, but this is a different circumstances which we are.
Yeah.
The room which we created where we are keeping the human remains is accessible by appointments.
Yes.
As I'm saying, these are not human remains to be accepted. It has to be done when people are doing rituals. It's not like you are just going in a collection or you are going in a display to see these human remains. Otherwise, if we make them for displays, we'll be doing the same mistakes which those who took the remains of our ancestors, they have been keeping them in museum as part of specimens and objects. And we want to respect the dignity of these people in their own country where we brought them now, so that they can be kept like that until negotiation agreement is reached between the affected community of what is going to be done.